trucker ship just jamming down the road. Foot on the floor, rolling a heavy load. Guitars wail in the dead of night. Midnights call my name. Rockin' country, trucking jams, burning a midnight's old flame. Freighting the trailer, my truck rolls like a cane. Every passing mile like a chorus I sing. Chicken lights like a heartbeat, horizon like a prayer. You can smell the tar and freedom in the mid.
Here they come. Here they come. Boots hit ground, engines roar. You hear that sound? Down, 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 down. Here comes a U.S. Army, tanks roll up, dirt in the air.
Wow.
What do you think of that, everybody?
Of the week and a big tractor clip of the week.
Literally, I pulled the truck into the yard, shut it off, jumped in the stagger, went and did some cultivating. I got weeds coming on my yin yang. That was kind of funny.
Wow.
It's kind of cool to put the camera up on the stagger and give it a shot. So
It looked awesome.
it's my fun toy.
It looked really, really awesome.
Beautiful drive yesterday through British Columbia. Couldn't be that
say.
province. So gorgeous. Through what took a 1920s case steam packer, which is a highway construction machine, but a steam unit, from Saskatchewan to Kelowna to a collector, and then I loaded a 1920s. Most people who followed me on social media would see this, a 1920s locomotive steam-powered engine boiler system. So 29,000 pounds on the deck of Big Red, legal load, and just smoked her through the mountains for the last couple of days, and here we are. So,
wow. Yeah,
How
it's beautiful.
doing?
And you know what's so funny is that I've traveled back and forth on these roads so much. I just about know, I think, just about all those places that you showed in your video.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? But
beautiful
absolutely, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, no kidding. No, I'm good. It feels like it was a busy week. It's going to be a busy weekend. I'm heading to Oyen tomorrow and then to Tabor on Sunday for to cover a rally for Corey Morgan's billboard signs that seem to be raising quite a ruckus out here.
Good.
He purchased some of those blue Alberta Independence signs and put them up in Tabor, the billboards. And of course, I think you know the story there. He had some problems with the town. They wanted him to take it down. And anyways, I think now he's got 3 of them there. So they're going to have a little rally there on Sunday. I'm going to go cover that.
Well, I got some mail from a loyal fan here the other day. John sent me a package with a whole bunch of these stickers in them. So seems to trigger a lot of people right now. Just showing a picture of the Alberta, provincial flag. How amazing is that in the country we live in right now?
Well, they had quite the turnout for the Sundry. You heard about the Sundry parade getting canceled because somebody wanted to put a flag in that had Alberta flags on it, or a float in that had Alberta flags. And I think they had just about 500 or more people show up there a few days ago to just they created their own parade.
Good.
Yeah.
Just a few nasty negative Nellies out there destroying it for the others out there. This country is in trouble right now. Watch how the government divides us in our own communities, and then judging by my last few days on social media, watch how the people in the Freedom Convoy divide people inside their own communities. It's the same thing. The government's sitting back right now laughing at the amount of division that they've created and then withstanding right now. It's unfortunate.
Right. And to what end?
Yeah.
To what end, it is ridiculous. Hello, everybody in the chat, and welcome to House Arrest, episode 34. We got Baba Susie here. Hello. Richard Upcott, 9026. Hello. Valerie Jordan, great advice. Yes, please hit the like button, share this video out, subscribe. We're I checked our numbers, 6,260 is where we're at now. So we're growing. We're steadily growing, but we really appreciate that, you guys.
Hey, we just started this for fun, kind of thing, and did house arrest for right. So
Yeah, that's right. Pardon me, Gord. Good evening. Oh, that's so sweet. Ellen says, "Hello, everyone. I was very comforted today to know that Big Red was in BC. That's so sweet. We got
it's
Edmonton in the
amazing.
house.
I stopped at a brake check. I think it was up on Revelstoke, and I met a lady up there, a fellow trucker, and she messaged her daughter who lived down in the Okanagan Valley somewhere. And then the next thing you know, I had people messaging me and saying, "Hey, Chris, are you coming down this way? I heard you're coming down this way." And I got to meet Sarah and Norm, and they basically convoyed me down into Kelowna the other night. I met a whole bunch of people at the truck stop. I was thinking like, okay, I'm going to be in there at a good time. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. I visited with a lot of people that night in the parking lot. It was amazing. It's so awesome when you pull into a community, and especially like Kelowna, where you kind of think it's a little more left leaning, but you spend the entire evening visiting with people coming and going because they know Big Red's in town. So very appreciative of the community of the Okanagan Valley and everybody that reached out to me. It's very humbling to see the amount of support out there, and I will greatly and appreciate it.
No kidding. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? It is. We're so, like, we say this all the time, but we are so lucky. We get so much support. I mean, you can't even have a conversation with you on the phone when you're trucking without somebody coming on your radio to say hi or, give you a honk, something like that. So yeah, it's good.
It's pretty cool. I think I made it just about out to BC, and I realized my VHF radio wasn't on our local LAD. We call them LAD 1, LAD 2, LAD, up through LAD 6, I believe. And so I turned it to LAD 1 thinking, well, I'm missing some conversation. If there's something ahead for an emergency or something like that, it was immediate. As soon as I turned the radio on, I had people going, "Hey, Big Red, are you there?" And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Well, as I was saying, this is episode number 34. We have now been, it has been 37 weeks since we were sentenced. We have 15 weeks to go on our house arrest, of course, and then we'll have curfew after that. But it's going by pretty fast.
It is. I actually emailed my probation officer the other day, and I said, "Can you just put me on house arrest, please? This trucking's been like, it's not. Phone rings every 30 seconds with enough load, and 5 trucks running as hard as we can run right now, and it doesn't seem like we're catching up. The only reason I'm home right now is this load that I have on goes down to southern Saskatchewan, and the crane appointment isn't quite set up yet, and we're not lifting this engine locomotive off the trailer without a crane. So I kind of just happily said, I'm just going to go home tonight. You let me know when everything's all booked, and I'll be there in a heartbeat. So that's why I'm home tonight. It was kind of cool for that. Get a little bit of work done.
I felt exactly that way. Well, of course, I was in Calgary all week last week. We came back on Friday afternoon, and I was just so ready to come back to my cell, my home cell. I was like, "Take me! I'm ready for my house arrest again."
I'm good.
It's always nice to get away, obviously, but it was good to get away. And you're heading to Ogama. Now, I grew up around Ogama. I mean, my grandma was from grew up in a place called Big Beaver. Down there by the Big Muddy. So I've been around Bangoff. That's where my great grandma lived for a long time, was Bangoff. So I got to say hi to my grandma because she watches our show quite often. So Hi, Grandma. Grandma Arlene is in Coronach, Saskatchewan. She turned 98 years old last month. So she's doing amazing.
Good.
Well, absolutely amazing.
There's like a little bit of a tourist attraction in Ogama, of course, for a prairie train ride, and they take you down one of the old rail lines and feed you lunch, and then I believe this piece I'm hauling right now will be a piece of that collection in the future. So pretty proud to be the guy hauling this thing, and yeah, it's exciting. I love antiques, and when I was in Kelowna, I got to meet this amazing guy, Doug, and he has a collection like my backyard for, and it's different though. Like I collect agriculture stuff. He collects construction stuff. So British Columbia was the home of Hayes Truck Company back in the day, bought out by Kenworth in the late 70s, I believe, or early 80s. And he collects a lot of the old Hayes semi trucks. And so the amount of construction equipment and semis he had in his collection, I was in awe. It was amazing. So I had an amazing day yesterday. Beautiful drive through the mountains.
Yeah.
Back in the prairies.
And I saw that equipment. Yeah, that was some pretty sweet equipment you were hauling. Honestly, you must have been in your total glory.
I was. I saved this trip for myself. I was selfish, so.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we better get to our guest today because he is an extremely busy and very important man. I've got a couple clips here I want to play. So we want to really talk about Bill C-34 tonight. Now, a lot of you probably know that Bill C-9 passed not that long ago, which is very concerning. So I think this is a very timely time to have this conversation, and we couldn't be more happy to have John Carpay join us this evening. But I wanted to play a couple clips of some of the reaction videos. Now, we have a great description from our friends over at Northern Perspective that I want to play. And then, of course, we've got Nico, I don't even know how to, Legan? A clip with Nico Legan and Bruce Party talking about Bill C-34 too. So let's run those clips.
This is terrifying.
This is like straight out of 1984.
This, and I'm not being a conspiracy theorist when I say this. This is literally setting up the Ministry of Truth and creating the thought police. That's what this is. Now, the government will say, no, these inspectors, they're just meant for Facebook.
Then why doesn't the bill say that?
Right.
And there's different.
Oh, sorry. Try to bring that up. Maybe me and Tasha did it at the same time.
In this different universe now, where the threat might be the threat of something that other people don't want to hear, and harm might be harmful, a harmful set of ideas. That's one of the things. That's the kind of language they use with respect to the trucker convoy. You dare to be here in Ottawa professing harmful ideas, and on that basis, that was one of the bases upon which they triggered the Emergencies Act. Okay, there was no violence, no threat of violence, but claimed to be the threat and the existence of harm. Right. So this is the kind of territory that these bills are operating in now.
Shout out to Bruce, Nico, and of course Piper and Fox for, when are Canadians going to wake up? When are Canadians going to have enough and say we've had enough? And tonight,
and I asked that question before we started. Like, I think a lot of this legislation that's getting rammed through is a result of, or part of it can be attributed to the Freedom Convoy and obviously the mishandling of that. But without further ado, let's listen to the expert on it, John Carpay. Welcome to House Arrest and welcome home from your vacation. It's great to see you.
Yes.
I'm so glad to be with both of you and see you again, even though it's not in person. And
yes,
glad to be back in Calgary. And I did enjoy a break, and I think I needed a break quite badly. So I got my batteries recharged, and then I come back to Canada, and it's like, oh, we got this C-34. It was just like no rest for the wicked. I guess it never stops.
Yeah, you've got to be one of the busiest men in this whole country with all the stuff that's going on in Canada these days, John.
Well, I've got a great team. We've got our network of lawyers, and I've gotten lots of assistance to get up to speed on this. But it's pretty sad when the government steps in and starts to function like a parent. Mm-hmm. And we Canadians, present company excluded, maybe not the three of us and the people listening, but Canadians generally have not done a good job on protecting their own kids from pornography, from excessive social media use. There's a dark side to it, right? Especially for young women, body image, you have to look like this. You got loneliness, anxiety, isolation, sometimes, online bullying, people being driven to suicide. You got all kinds of garbage. And there's way too many parents in Canada who are allowing their kids, unsupervised access. And you're only 13, but you get to have your own phone in your own bedroom or whatever, right? Yes. No time limits, no restrictions on contents, no net nanny, anti-pornography software, whatever. So a lot of parents have been screwing up. So there is a problem. Right, and the government's capitalizing on that. There is a real problem with some teenagers and adults suffering some harm from social media. There's a problem with pornography to the point where there's young men who have no idea how to have a real relationship with a real woman because they're looking at pornography all the time. It's very destructive. It's very toxic. Yeah. Anyway, so the government comes along, like our Lord and Savior, and says, Superman's here. I got the red cape. We're going to save you from all of this. So we've got this Safe Social Media Act, which will create the Digital Safety Act, as well as a Digital Safety Commission of Canada Act.
Yes.
And Some parts of it might be okay, but the biggest problem with the bill is that it creates this very, very powerful Digital Safety Commission, which will be
Yes.
something like the CRTC, the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission, very powerful body that used to have authority only over radio and television, but now with C11, they also have authority over the internet. So the CRTC is very powerful. This is going to be even more powerful than the CRTC. This Digital Safety Commission is going to have powers to regulate contents on social media. It's going to have powers to create rules, but this is not set out in Bill C-34. So Bill C-34 says, basically, we're going to create this Digital Safety Commission, and the Digital Safety Commission is going to have all these powers, bang, 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 bang. So I'll rattle off just a few examples. This commission is going to have the power to decide how you must prove your age to use social media. That'll apply to everybody, right? If you're trying to prevent under 16s from using social media, the only way to do that is you require everybody using social media to provide proof of age. The commission will have power to decide what platforms must do to keep minors away from pornography. The measures every platform must take against harmful content. What content platforms must preserve and for how long. How platforms must block under 16 account holders. What counts as harmful behavior by an AI chatbot. An example of something we should be perhaps debating in Parliament, but what this does is, if this bill is passed, the Commission, without any public debate, without public input, the Commission will decide what counts as harmful behavior by an AI chatbot. So it's just so undemocratic to create this very powerful federal regulatory agency where they're going to make all the rules and enforce the rules and punish people for breaking the rules and issue fines for up to $10 million or 3% of global revenues for an internet corporation. Anyway, I'll stop there. It's, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. We've created an opportunity. We have to accept some responsibility as citizens. We've created an opportunity for the government to present itself as our savior and helper and Superman, to come in here and rescue the children. And they would not be in as strong of a position to do this if parents were really stepping up to the plate and supervising, monitoring, limiting their kids' access to social media, internet, pornography, chatbots, artificial intelligence, etc.
John, do you feel like that society's almost been driven this direction because of the fact, I was fortunate enough to be raised in a household where my mother was a stay-at-home mother. Her job was to look after and raise us children. But nowadays, the cost of living is so high, and all these parents are out there just busting their tails, both, multiple jobs within the household, mother, father, daycare's busy. Has the government created the situation where parents aren't there like what they were back in the 80s when I was a child?
I think high taxes are a contributing factor. Also, the discrimination in the tax system. So if you have a family that earns $100,000 a year and you've got, let's say, the mom's earning $100,000 a year, the dad's a stay-at-home dad, they pay more taxes than the family next door. If mom and dad are each earning $50,000 a year, they pay less taxes. It's the same $100,000 for the family, but they pay less taxes. If you've got all your money coming from one income earner, which is usually the man, but not always, but you actually pay higher taxes than the family next door. So that's part of the problem.
Absolutely. Now, I was looking into some of this Bill C-34 stuff, and it is quite alarming, a lot of it. I mean, obviously, we want to keep our children safe. As you said, at the very beginning, there's a lot of noble intentions, as you said, in this bill. But I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, hate is objective and subjective. And who gets to determine what is hate? Hate is an emotion. I don't understand how you can. And where's the line between hatred and, say, disdain? So there's that aspect of it where they're trying to, again, redefine. Now, they just passed Bill C-9 where they did define hate, as far as I recall. They did define hate. So now they're trying to define it again through this bill. And the other thing that was really unsettling about the Bill C-34 is this commission that they want to create. And that they can actually go into your, well, they're talking about the companies right now. They're not talking about going into John Carpay's home. They're talking about Facebook and these social media platform organizations. But that's where it starts, in my opinion. But they can go in with a warrant. They can go in if you let them in. And it says right in the bill, like, you have to comply. They can either take a screenshot or the information from your laptop computer, or they can just take your computer. So there's a lot, and this is like an unelected, as you said, no parliamentary debate. They're just going to create this commission and give them these unprecedented powers, really, which is very, very concerning. It should concern a lot of Canadians.
And the way if this bill passes in its current form, it will function much like the vaccine passports, where the government had the businesses doing the dirty work, right? So the restaurant was threatened. If you don't exclude people who have not been injected, you're going to be subjected to, a $10,000 fine or $100,000 fine. So with a few exceptions, like, Chris Scott in Whistle Stop, with some heroic exemptions, 99% of the restaurants played along with the government and did this. You got to prove that you got injected. Otherwise, we're not letting you in. So the restaurants did the government's dirty work, and so did all these other businesses. Now, in the same way with C-34, if C-34 passes in current form, you're not going to see a lot of individual Canadians getting prosecuted. What you're going to see instead is that these the social media and the internet service providers and the platform hosts, all of these companies, they're going to be terrified of getting fined either 10 million or 3% of their annual global revenues, whichever is greater. They're going to be terrified of getting fined. So it'll be the platforms themselves will be removing content left, right, and center all over the place. If they think that there's something that the content could get them the $10 million fine, they're going to play it safe. So it's going to, if it passes, well, you see a lot of companies might pull out of Canada altogether. You might see that, Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok might say, we're just not going to operate in Canada. Telegram, Signal, code-to-code encrypted services, they might all pull out. But whatever is left, you're not going to have robust discussion, and you're certainly not going to see a lot of conservative speech, Christian speech, libertarian speech, the type of speech that the equity, diversity, inclusion, neo-Marxists hate. That's what hate speech is. It's speech that they hate.
Right.
So that's a big risk here with C-34. It's not Canadian individuals getting prosecuted. That's a risk under C-9 and other things. But this bill, it's that the internet companies themselves are going to sanitize not have any bad conservative Christian libertarian stuff on the website.
But when you start linking all these bills together, right? This is what the thing that people are missing. When you start linking all these bills together, they form a huge giant clamp around your neck, let's say.
Yeah, we actually have a graphic here that this one here, when you're talking in relation to these bills.
Who put that together? That's great.
I think Julian did.
Really well done.
This is your guys, John. This is the Justice Center.
Sorry, I just got back from holidays. Julian, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally fine.
It's embarrassing.
You're good. You're good.
No, don't be. No, it's it might have been put together by somebody else, but I think it was you guys that did it. Anyways, Julian sent it. But this is really a nice graphic, as like Chris was saying, they're setting up these bills sort of in different parts. One thing leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next. So
you got an amazing team, John. You don't even have to guess anymore. You just always say, "It's my guys."
Yeah. Look at how productive they are when you're away.
Right?
Give them a raise.
Give them a raise.
So in this one, new laws limit free expression in Canada. So we got Bill C-34, the Safe Social Media Act, forces everyone to verify their age, ends anonymity and pseudonymity, creates a powerful new digital safety commission with broad powers to monitor and enforce the rules.
Oh boy, I just see a comment here that I have to scroll up and just grab this one. You had your cell phone taken after a false arrest. Well, I can
Wow.
relate on that one because I still don't have my cell phone to this day after Freedom Convoy. It is still locked up in Ottawa City Evidence to this day.
Yeah.
That's disgraceful.
Yeah.
The interesting angle on this mandatory identification is that Australia passed similar legislation to a Safe Social Media Act, and they passed this law in December 2025, so about 6 months ago. 3 months after it went into effect, they had a government official issue an initial interim report on how well this was working. And they discovered that 2/3, so this was supposed to prevent kids, teenagers under 16 from accessing social media. So they passed the law. 3 months later, over 2/3 of Australian youth under the age of 16 were still accessing social media. They were using fake IDs. They were borrowing IDs from their parents or older brother and sister or older friend. And so it wasn't working. Now, what's interesting about that scenario is that then creates a scenario where the government says, well, this is not working. The only way we can make this work is if everybody has government issued ID. And so if you want to get onto Facebook, Twitter, you have to identify yourself and you have to prove that you are 16 or older, or you have to prove that you're over 18 if you're trying to access pornography. This creates a situation where everybody, because the only way to make it work is if you have centralized government issued ID, it's the only way to make it work. So in a way, it's just really creepy, right? They pass the law and then it doesn't work, right? And then they say, well, that's why we need to take it to the next level. Everybody's got to get their ID to log on to the internet. Then you have the government observing you for every AI search, for every website you visit, for every social media use.
Welcome to the Matrix. Yep. I recently spent the weekend with an amazing Christian family who was involved with us in Convoy, and they've got young children. I believe 13 years old is what their daughter is, and they were trying to monitor her social media and keep her off of her phone or off of a phone. And the amount of bullying in school because of her not having a phone forced the parents into actually allowing her to have a cell phone. But with that, I want to make sure I mention this. Screen time was monitored and timed. So this young lady was fully monitored. No new friend requests. Everything was monitored to the tilt, and because of that. But just the fact that bullying was happening because this young lady didn't have a social media account and couldn't connect with her friends. I mean, there's obviously a way to do it, and I believe that they're doing it the proper way by being parents, and I applaud them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to be unpopular sometimes. If you want to be a good parent, sometimes you make unpopular decisions, and your kids for a few minutes or a few hours or perhaps even a few days are going to be very upset with you, and well, that's too bad. You have to. But some parents can't stand the lack of popularity, and they wither, and that's unfortunate.
The fearing your parents part is something that is lacking in society today. Because I know that if I spoke wrong to my mother growing up, it didn't end well. Let's just say that.
It didn't end well.
And I would seriously, it made me a better person.
And let's not forget, I mean, I was a rebellious teenager. I was told no or forbidden from things, and teenagers will just find a way. Yep. They'll just figure it out because they're very resourceful and they can figure these things out. And I wanted to bring this up because I think this is a prime example kind of where this is headed. And I don't know, you're freshly back from your trip, John, but I'm sure you heard about the call to prayer in Regina that they're testing right now. The Islamic call to prayer.
I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize.
So I'll show this to you then, because I really want your take on it. So last week, I think it was, the city of Regina tested a call to prayer. And so they're going to test this now every Friday, once a day, every Friday. It's a kilometer. Tasha, if you can find a clip maybe from X or something, they might have something on there. I'd be curious to show John. If you can, just let me know. So anyways, of course, there's a bit of a backlash happening. It's blasting out over these loudspeakers. It's they can hear it for a kilometer around the thing. And so, of course, there was concerned citizens that contacted the city and the Regina City Police. And here's what they put out in their statement. And maybe Tasha can find that. So the Regina Police Service, and this is in relation to C9, which just passed, is aware of public discussion around a permit issued by the RPS to a local faith group to amplify their call to prayer via their downtown rooftop speaker. The call lasts approximately 3 minutes and takes place over the noon hour on Fridays. A consistent process is followed when assessing amplification permits. The process is based on the City of Regina bylaw number 6980, noise abatement bylaw. On average, each year, RPS issues over 100 amplification permits to various community groups. Then it lists the criteria, but I want you to go to the bottom of the document, pardon me, where they've included this because of C9. What is a hate crime? And right above that, the Regina Police Services is aware of threats being made in relation to this practice, and in response, an enhanced police presence will be visible around Muslim places of gathering. Threats will be taken seriously and investigated under recently enhanced Canadian hate crimes legislation. You're going to have to get back to work, John. What is a hate crime? Any criminal offense committed against a person or property motivated in whole or in part by the offender's real or perceived bias, prejudice, or hate against an identifiable group.
Wow. You say there's a backlash.
And there should be, this is the type of issue, and there's many issues where there should be a healthy, robust discussion, and people should be able to express their views that, this is about religious freedom and making some accommodations for a religious minority. And a counter argument that 3 minutes is too long. And, counter argument to that, there are cities in Europe where the church bells ring and they'll go on for a minute or two, not just for 10 seconds. But, whatever the debate is, but this is disconcerting that there's this chilling thing. And it's kind of like saying, well, you better be careful and not oppose this presumably Muslim. I didn't see it written in there, but
yes, yeah.
The subtext seems to be you better not speak out against the Muslims having this call to prayer, because then you're committing a crime, which is insane. Because there's a world of difference too between speaking out against something you disagree with, or beating somebody up, attacking them, damaging their property, burning their house down, vandalizing their car.
Even just hating them.
These are all crimes, or it's just hitting them, right? So there should not be, police should not be taking sides in a public debate. And if there are people in Regina, if you allow there to be a public debate and everybody gets heard and you come out with some compromise solution, people will be able to live with it. But if you chill the debate and you never have the debate in the first place, then you're going to have lingering resentment.
Yeah.
But I think
which really seems like that's what they're doing, is just completely shutting it down. Sorry, Chris. It just seems like that's what they're doing by putting that in there, as you said, right? Like, don't you complain because we have these new powers.
Do you see the escalation in this? So, like, you remember the POEC for the trucker convoy when we did the Public Emergency Order Commission? They used terms like microaggressions, and trucks could be used as violence. They weren't talking about actual violence. They were talking about perceived notions that they came up with. This has just been a slippery slope, has it not, John?
Well, it's a neo-Marxist ideology of group conflict, group oppression, and the old Marxism said that we're going to get to the utopia when the good workers crush and vanquish and defeat and obliterate the evil capitalists. Now that's largely been left by the wayside. There's not too many old style Marxists kicking around who believe in class struggle between capitalist and worker. However, it's been replaced by a neo-Marxist ideology which says that we should all be at war, men versus women, gay versus straight, light-skinned people versus dark-skinned people. And all of society is a war between oppressors and oppressed. And the way that we get to the utopia is not by focusing on our common humanity and learning how to get along. No. The way to get to the utopia is for the oppressed to crush the oppressor. And so this is a neo-Marxist ideology. It's like the old one, except instead of capitalist versus worker, now it's straight light-skinned male versus gay dark-skinned female. But it's the same ideology of hate and group division, and saying that what we need to do is have people hating each other and fighting each other, and let the oppressed groups crush the oppressor groups. So with that ideology has infiltrated, obviously, the Regina police and universities, the media, most political parties, some more than others. And so that's what we're up against. It's a neo-Marxist oppression narrative that gets into this ridiculous garbage about microaggressions. You know, you can only talk that way if you're a true believer in this neo-Marxist woke ideology.
How do we work our way out of it?
Tasha found a clip here. Tasha found a clip here, so I'll. Oh, thank you. Yeah, sorry guys. 1 second. I won't play the whole thing. It's quite long, but. Anyways,
Well, I'm
that's
very
just an
happy to see
example,
the Saskatchewan flag and the Canadian flag being flown on that flagpole. I can say thank you very much, Regina.
Yeah. I just want to share this too because share screen. The Justice Center. Can you see it there? No. Why can't I bring this up?
This is about our free speech court victory coming out of Ottawa.
No, but we can definitely talk about that too. This is your national campaign opposing Bill C-34. And if you go to the Justice Center website, they also have a petition or a letter ready to go there that you can sign to send to your MP. I'll just quickly touch on this. The Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms announces the launch of a national campaign urging Canadians to contact their members of parliament in opposition to Bill C-34, the Safe Social Media Act. So if you go to their website, you can search it up, and they actually do have a letter that's all ready to go. You really just have to fill it out. I think it'll actually, if you put your location in, it'll find the MP that it'll send it to. So if you're concerned about Bill C-34, you can head on over to the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms website and have a look at some of that.
The website is called jccf.ca. I want to make sure everybody knows that. And the Justice Center's made it very simple for everybody just to copy and paste, sign your name to it. It makes it to its MP. That's what we need right now. People need to stand up and take control of the situation. Our government is out of control, is it not?
Yes. Yes.
To a large extent, but this summer is a good time as well to contact your MP's office and request an in-person meeting. Oh, worst case scenario, they'll say no, but at least you ask and go in there with another person. Don't go in alone because it can be kind of intimidating, but go in with a friend and just sit down, share your concerns, ask for a meeting, ask for an opportunity to talk about C-34, be polite, and it just, and they're in their ridings this summer. Now, obviously, the MPs are also want a holiday, and most of them, I think, work very hard and they deserve a holiday, but they're not going to be taking a holiday for 10 weeks, right? So in July and August, they're home in the riding. You can ask for a meeting, and we've had an impact. Bill C-9 would have been even worse if it wasn't for Canadians speaking out against the legislation. The original C-9 would have gotten rid of a current requirement that a hate speech prosecution cannot proceed unless it has the approval of the Justice Minister or the Attorney General of the province. And that's a good way to keep it under control and not have a gazillion hate speech prosecutions. So the original version of Bill C-9 was going to scrap that requirement that a hate speech prosecution requires the provincial justice minister to approve before it can go ahead. So because of that pushback, they've kept that in place, you know.
Good.
And Bill C2, the government backed down on a lot of bad stuff in Bill C2. So we need to not get discouraged.
Yeah.
And this
And
is,
keep the
you know,
pressure on.
I just want to go when Convoy was on, JCCF was there right from day one for those of us, and they continue to be there for us to this day. I know, John, your organization helped me through probably the most difficult time of my life, going through 2 years of trial, and now you know, that's continuing now with the appeals from the Crown. And of course, we still need to talk about the $290 million lawsuit that the JCCF is representing us on. So it's very important that everybody stands behind these organizations out there that are defending Canadian civil liberties. I just want to make sure we know that. John, you're very appreciated in what your organization represents.
Well, thanks. I'm so glad to be with you, and you know, wish you and everybody else have a great evening for the rest of the night.
You betcha.
Yeah.
You're a busy man, my friend. Do we have anything else for John tonight?
Well, I really just wanted to say, you know, I saw the Dr. Frances Widdowson has had her charges stayed. So congratulations for that. That's a huge win. I saw our good friend Jeff Evely had his tickets also dropped. So that's also a huge, huge win. So we're probably giving you breaking news, John, if you just got home, but you've had
I'd
some
heard
great
about
wins
those two.
the last. Yeah, you've had some really big wins, so congratulations. And I really echo you know, what Chris said. You guys have just gone over and above, and I know ourselves and a lot of Canadians are so thankful for everything that you've done, because a lot of us, I don't know where we'd be without you. Much
Desolate. I guarantee you that right now. Desolate.
Yeah.
Well, we'll all keep on fighting until we win.
Yes,
that's
we
the game
will.
plan.
Yes, we will. And I
John,
will see you at least one of the dinners, at one of the JCCF dinners this year. I'm going to definitely make the Calgary one with the Rebel team. So I'll see you for Candace Malcolm's George Jonas Freedom Award.
Candace Malcolm is the recipient of the 2026 George Jonas Freedom Award. So we have a dinner in Toronto on July 21st. It's sold out, actually. And then we have a dinner in Vancouver in August, also sold out. We still have tickets left for our dinner in Calgary coming up September 24th.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, John, I would
recommend, if you get a ticket, that you go. It's an amazing dinner, and you know, it's Candace definitely should be celebrated for all her hard work, and I'm looking forward to it. So,
right on.
Anything else to add, John, before we let you go home and relax?
Nope, just let's keep on fighting until we win. And the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. We are good people. We're not doing nothing, so we're going to win in the end.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, sounds good. Well, you have a great night, John. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night. See you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you bet. Oh, just always love talking to that guy. He's
amazing.
Just done so much.
He's been there right from the start, you know, and we could have probably carried that conversation on for quite some time, but John has been gone for a little while and he's really far behind on things, and we appreciate him giving us the time to just come on and explain a few things. So
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they're doing great work. Absolutely love it. We're done even a little bit early tonight, Chris Barber.
We are. I still have stuff to do outside, but I know everybody, there's a few people out there that look forward to the show every week, and you know, most of the time I'm so flying through the week, I usually have to stop myself and be like, oh, I have to get in front of the laptop or the computer.
That's right. Well, like I said, we are so very, very lucky. Next week, we're going to have Carrie Sakamoto and Eva Chipiuk are going to come on to talk about how their hearings went last week. I just thought it'd be great to have them both come on and both share their perspectives on it. And then the week after, I was going to get Right Blend, Jonathan Villeneuve. I can never pronounce John V. But I think I'm going to see if he can come on the week after, because I thought it was, you know, it's been a long time, Chris, since you and me just sat down in front of the, you know, and just talked with our community and just had a chat about things that are happening all around us too. So anyways, I'll see what John's schedule is like. So we'll have Carrie and Eva next week, possibly just you and me the week after that, or John. But yeah.
Well, we're always here and we're always chatting and we're constantly, if you see my eyes going that way, it's because we're watching the comment section. So if anybody's got any questions they want to throw out there, by all means, Tash is an amazing producer and she will catch them if we don't. Throw them away. There's been a lot of drama in the freedom movement in the last week, of course, and I'd just like to say to everybody out there that for the most part, I like to ignore that. I've kind of grown. Well, no, I've always had thick skin, but I like to try and ignore. I like to go after the trolls, the ones that are lost on my social media. But when I have to resort to retaliating or going after the horrible things that people say from people involved in our own movement, it's discouraging, and it doesn't. There's no place for it. There shouldn't be a place for it, but it's there, and we need to deal with it. And for some of us, when we have to actually take a stand and speak up about something, the time has come. So anybody watching the social media platforms, apologize to the ones that don't want to hear it, but sometimes it has to be said. So, and believe me,
I mean, when your dad is contacting you, Chris, and saying you need to do something, then I mean, there is a turn the other cheek, and really that's what I try to do. But it's hard sometimes. It is hard sometimes when you have all this crap coming at you, like, whatever.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of projection. I did catch a bit of that video that you're referring to, and it was a lot of projection. Honestly, I sat there listening to this person talk about you and just thought, that sounds like you, though.
A lot of lies. And the one thing that I thought of, people shouldn't throw stones when they live in a glass house. I mean, I've heard a lot of false accusations, or not false accusations. I've heard a lot of accusations. And just when I put that out there, that there's this accusation, and then a few people reach out to me saying, "Hey, that's 100% true." Only they don't talk about that. It's sad,
right.
and it shouldn't take part. The government right now is sitting back right now, this whole entire freedom community, and laughing at us because there's certain people inside this movement that are hell bent on destruction and destroying anyone that's got more attention than them, and it's wrong. And it should be stopped, and it should be policed by us. But yeah, when my father called the other day and said, "You know what? I just watched something that I shouldn't have had to watch. When are you going to speak out? Enough of being quiet already." So I thought, if it comes from my mother or my father, it has to happen.
Yeah, I know. I like I said, I just ignore it all because it's just you just can't win. You can't win. It doesn't matter. You're never going to win. And again, I wish these guys all the best. I really do. Go out, fight your fight, go save Canada from your couch on a live with no shirt on, if that's what's working for you. But I don't wish them any ill will. I think in a lot of cases, you and I have gone over and above to try and help some of these people. And then it just turns into stuff like this. And that's okay. That's okay. It's a free country, sort of. They can think what they think. It doesn't matter to me. But I will say, I mean, it's just like any other day. You sometimes that stuff can roll off your back, and other days, if you're having a down day or whatever, it can get under your skin.
Yeah, so, I mean, what sparked this whole conversation was somebody defending another, obviously lost troll online, doxing my address and putting Google images of where I live on social media, and then to have somebody that we allegedly stood with in Ottawa come out there and defend that person. There's times when my wife fears for her safety when I'm gone trucking, and this farm, I've got a lot of neighbors, so I've explained to her many times, one simple phone call and a neighbor will be here faster than any law enforcement officer, and they will probably act very fast. We've got a good group of community around us, but for my wife to be, fearful or fear of her safety, and then for this piece of garbage to defend, that is sickening. So I've always said this, and I'll say it one more time. If you had a good experience in Freedom Convoy, then you should go and speak about that positive experience to everybody, because everybody needs to know it. And if you didn't have a good time in Convoy, or you have negative feelings, then it's probably because you're a shitty person, and you should probably try to do better. Period. I had a good experience.
Julie's asking, how long are you both under house arrest? We did, Julie, I actually did the math right before the show, and we have been 37 weeks and 2 days into our sentence. We have 15 weeks left of house arrest. So October the 6th, the house arrest portion will be over. And then we have 6 months of a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., which I still think is hilarious because where am I going to be after 9 anyways? And then mine, because of time served, I'll be finished January the 21st will be my last day. So we're planning where we're going to go on January 22nd.
Are you drinking?
Chris, yeah, maybe. Or else we're going to a beach somewhere or something. I don't know, but I think we'll be due for a vacation at some point. Yeah,
Well,
that's probably all we can afford is to come to your house and have a beer.
On other notes too, Tamara and I both received 100 hours of community service because of our sentencing, and Tamara finished her community service quite some time ago. I would like to announce Chris Barber has finished his community service as well. My hours are in. I believe we added up to 107 hours complete. And with that, I'm not done working for my local community because it will be something that I take part in for the rest of my natural born life. So I've been granted, I can go keep working in the community when I can. And I plan to do that for the next, as long as I'm alive.
I love my volunteer time. Like I finished up my community service. Like you said, I did it as fast as I could. And I finished that up in February, but they've let me continue to volunteer at the food bank, which I really like. I enjoy going down there. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy working with the other volunteers in the back. And so I definitely want to keep doing that for as long as I can. But it fills my cup,
And I've got a special project that I've been working on, or I'm going to start working on in my local village, and it involves destroying a home. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. Take a little aggression out on a building with an excavator.
Right.
And I'm excited for that. So I've been granted permission to keep working in the community, but I need this workload to slow down a little bit. We've got 5 trucks on the road right now. One of them is sitting in the shop right now with an oil pan missing on it. Our driver, Jay, that passed away a few years ago, and his truck that we keep on the fleet in memorial of Jay Weedmark. Jonathan changed the oil on it last week, and the oil plug on the bottom of the oil pan cross-threaded. Something happened in the plug, so the bolt wouldn't go in to hold the oil in tight, so we decided to tear it apart. And so we've got a truck sitting in the shop right now with an open oil pan on it. The pan's in town getting retrofitted right now, so can't wait to have that truck up and running shortly.
Yeah, no doubt. Orland has a question for you, Chris. How does the house arrest work when you're on the road?
So everything I do right now is a Monday morning email to my probation officer and a Wednesday morning email, and she lists what I am going to accomplish that week. So this week I emailed her on Monday morning. I get a clearance letter back. I'm not allowed to leave the yard until I have that clearance letter in my hand. In my email, I should say. So this week it was simply going to Fillmore, Saskatchewan. I have to give her the time and the day that I'm going to be loading that load, and then I'm allowed to travel then to where I deliver that load. Twice a week I have to give her updates. I'm allowed 6 hours of leisure time per week, so I've booked that to attend our local Frontier Days parade in Swift Current on Saturday morning. If I'm late...
You putting Big Red in it?
No, I can't put Big Red in it, but I didn't book it. She needs a polish. It's been busy working so much. There's so many things that are wrong on that truck right now that need to be addressed. But if I run into troubles, if I'm late, if I run into a snowstorm or an accident or something like that, and I say that I'm going to be home at 10 o'clock at night and I'm going to be home at 10:30, I usually have to call the local police RCMP detachment and let them advise them that I am going to be late. Because if police do a curfew check on us, and I am not where I say I'm going to be, I will breach and I will be put in jail for the remainder of my sentence. So it's very important. I've had to phone the police officers have been very cooperative to work with in my hometown here ever since we started this ordeal. Good. And I still haven't had a visit. You've had a couple visits, but I haven't.
Only 2. Yeah, I've only had 2 visits so far, so which I consider myself pretty lucky, honestly. But it was so funny, Chris. I mean, last week, of course, I was in Calgary on a work exemption, and it was just funny because I had to get an exemption, but I'm literally in the courthouse every day, surrounded by sheriffs and cops and lawyers and judges. And then there's like an RCMP convention at the hotel that I was staying at. So I emailed Megan. I'm like, I am literally, for being under house arrest and possibly the safest place in the whole world. Like, I'm spending my day, in a courthouse and my evenings surrounded by RCMP officers. But I got to tell you, though, I don't know if I mentioned this to you last week, Chris, but wow, do we have a lot of support in that that Calgary courthouse? Like so much support. They were coming up and shaking my hand and loved our work, and it was it was really quite nice, because you just never know in this situation. I had lawyers coming up and talking to me and shaking my hand, and so a little bit different than Ottawa courthouse. Mind you, we still get a lot of support out at the Ottawa courthouse too.
One of the big things that I'll probably remember for the rest of my life was leaving the Ottawa courthouse on our sentencing day and having officers come up to me and say, "We're gonna, you're an amazing person, and thank you for showing us respect during your time here," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, it was like nice, because we were never against law enforcement. We were against government, and it's unfortunate that the government had to use law enforcement against peaceful protesters in this country to break people up. This is our enemy right now is the government.
Well, I'm suing them, so I don't think they'll probably be coming up to shake my hand anymore. The Ottawa Police Service is having a terrible few weeks.
I think.
Did you see their announcement a couple of days ago where the chief had to come out and say that some of their officers were like using their databases to look up women and hook up with women, and they're not going to have a good year.
No, remember that. Don't throw stones when you live in a glass house.
That's right, exactly. So, anyways, I'm looking forward to moving that case. It's going to take a long time to get that civil suit done, but I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of wonderful people that work for the Ottawa Police Service. I will say that. I mean, they have a lot of great people that we met, even some people that we know that work for the Ottawa Police Service, in fact, and that are huge supporters. But there is a rot in the bureaucracy at that place. Steve, what's his face? Interim Chief Steve Bell, former interim chief. Remember when he was saying that he was going to hunt down and persecute and financially handicap anyone that was involved in the Freedom Convoy? I mean, there's stuff like that. They need to be held accountable.
I have to cough here. Prick. Did you get that?
That's right. Yeah, no kidding. John Hutch says that was the Toronto plea. I don't know. Maybe there was both, John. I'm pretty sure the Ottawa Police Service just came out and had to do the same thing, but I think you're right. I think there was I think they're just getting to the tip of the iceberg there with the Toronto Police Service, honestly, but that's just me.
We're on the right side of history, everybody. Remember that. We
are. You got it. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We have to do chatting with you next week on our No One Gets Left Behind episode. We'll have Carrie Sakamoto and Eva Chipiuk to join us to talk about her case and what happens next as we wait for the judge's decision. So I hope you all have an amazing week, and we will see you next week on House Arrest. Keep your eyes on the prize, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks, Tasha. Bye.